A panoramic scene capturing a heartfelt moment at golden hour in a vibrant urban park in Seattle, Washington. Two young men, both in their mid-20s, stand close together under a canopy of cherry blossom trees, their faces illuminated by soft, warm sunlight. One, with short dark hair and a gentle smile, gazes intently at the other, who has curly blonde hair and a hesitant, vulnerable expression. Their hands brush slightly, charged with unspoken tension, as a gentle breeze scatters pink petals around them. In the foreground, a wooden park bench bears a carved inscription in elegant script, reading, "Love ignites in silence." The text feels organic, blending seamlessly into the scene without overpowering the raw, emotional connection between the characters. The background shows a diverse crowd of park-goers, fading into a soft blur, emphasizing the intimacy of the moment. I overheard my best friend confess he's in love with me. Now every glance feels like dangerous fire. The words hit me like a freight train, raw and unstoppable, in the quiet of a late-night diner. I'm in love with him, Maya. I'm in love with Eli. Theo's voice, usually steady as the Puget Sound tides, cracked under the weight of his confession, and I, hidden behind the vinyl booth, froze. My best friend, my anchor, was in love with me. Eli Navarro, 25, a graphic designer with a penchant for late-night sketching and a laugh that could light up the gloomiest Seattle rain, wasn't supposed to overhear that. I was supposed to be grabbing my jacket from the counter, not eavesdropping on Theo Caldwell, 26, a barista and aspiring musician whose sharp wit and hazel eyes had been my safe harbor for years. But now, those words burned through me, turning every memory of our friendship into kindling for something dangerous, something I couldn't unhear. The diner's neon glow flickered outside, casting jagged shadows across Pine Street. I slipped out before Theo could spot me, my heart pounding like it was trying to break free. How had I missed it? The late-night talks, the way his hand lingered when he passed me a coffee, the glances I'd brushed off as nothing. Now they felt like sparks waiting to ignite. By the time I reached my apartment in Capitol Hill, the city's hum couldn't drown out the chaos in my head. Theo and I had been inseparable since college, two misfits bonding over bad indie films and shared dreams of escaping our small-town pasts. He was the one who'd sit with me through panic attacks, who'd play his guitar to calm me when the world felt too loud. But love? That was a line we'd never crossed, a line I hadn't even known he'd drawn in his heart. The next morning, Theo texted like nothing had changed. "Meet me at the park? Got new lyrics to show you." My phone felt like a live wire in my hand. Did he know I'd heard him? Was this a test, or just another day for him? I stared at his message, the words blurring as my pulse raced. Every choice felt like stepping into a minefield. Go, and risk confronting the truth. Stay, and lose the one person who made Seattle feel like home. I went. Fremont Park was alive with spring, cherry blossoms drifting like soft pink snow. Theo sat on our usual bench, his guitar case at his feet, his dark hair catching the sunlight. He looked up as I approached, and his smile, God, that smile, hit me differently now. It was warm, unguarded, but there was a flicker in his hazel eyes, a question I couldn't answer yet. "Eli," he said, voice soft, "you're late." "Sorry," I mumbled, sitting beside him, my hands shoved deep in my jacket pockets. The air felt charged, every word a potential spark. He strummed a few chords, humming a melody, but I couldn't focus. His confession replayed in my mind, looping like a song I couldn't shake. Did he mean it? Was it a fleeting thought, or had he been carrying this for years? And why did my chest ache at the thought of him loving me? "You okay?" Theo asked, his fingers pausing on the strings. His gaze locked onto mine, and for a moment, the world narrowed to just us. Two guys on a bench, surrounded by blossoms, teetering on the edge of something terrifying and beautiful. I wanted to ask him, to spill everything I'd heard, but fear clamped my throat shut. What if saying it ruined us? What if it didn't? Instead, I nodded, forcing a smile. Just tired. But as he played on, his shoulder brushing mine, I felt the fire he'd sparked in that diner. Every glance, every touch, was dangerous now, and I wasn't sure I wanted to put it out. The park became our battleground over the next few weeks. We met there daily, as if drawn by some unspoken pact, but the ease of our friendship was gone. Every conversation felt like a tightrope walk. Theo would laugh, toss a playful jab, or lean closer to show me a new chord, and I'd catch myself staring at his hands, his lips, wondering what it would feel like to cross that line. But I didn't. I couldn't. Not when I didn't even know what I felt. I'd never thought of myself as anything but straight. Growing up in a small Oregon town, I'd dated girls, kept my head down, and moved to Seattle to chase a life where I could breathe freer. Theo was the first person who made me question that. His confession had cracked something open in me, something I wasn't ready to name. Was it love? Attraction? Or just the fear of losing him? The uncertainty gnawed at me, but so did the pull of his presence. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the park in hues of gold, Theo set his guitar down and turned to me. "Eli, what's going on with you? You've been off for weeks." His voice was gentle but firm, like he was done waiting for me to speak. I froze, my heart hammering. This was it. The moment to tell him I'd heard, to ask what it meant, to admit I didn't know what I wanted. But the words wouldn't come. Instead, I stood, muttering something about work, and fled, leaving him alone on the bench. As I walked away, the weight of his gaze burned into my back, and I knew I couldn't run forever. Avoiding Theo was like trying to avoid the rain in Seattle. Impossible and pointless. He was everywhere, in the playlists we'd made together, in the coffee shop where he worked, in the way my sketches started to trace the lines of his face without my permission. I threw myself into work, designing logos for a startup, but even that couldn't drown out the questions circling my mind. What did I feel for him? And why was I so terrified to find out? A week after I bolted from the park, Theo showed up at my apartment unannounced. The knock came late, past 10, and when I opened the door, there he was, hoodie damp from the drizzle, eyes searching mine like he could see through every wall I'd built. "We need to talk, Eli," he said, stepping inside before I could protest. My tiny living room felt smaller with him in it. He paced, hands in his pockets, then stopped, facing me. "You've been dodging me. Did I do something?" His voice was raw, edged with hurt, and it cut deeper than I expected. "No, it's not you." I lied, my throat tight. How could I tell him I'd overheard his confession to Maya? That every time he looked at me, I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff? I wanted to protect what we had, but the truth was a live wire between us, and I didn't know how to handle it. "Then what is it?" Theo pressed, stepping closer. His proximity made my skin hum, like the air itself was charged. "You're my best friend, Eli. If something's wrong, I need to know." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. The weight of his confession, the fear of changing everything, pinned me in place. Instead, I grabbed my sketchbook, flipping to a page I'd drawn last night, a rough outline of him playing guitar, his face soft in the park's light. "I've just been distracted," I mumbled, shoving the sketchbook at him. He took it, his fingers brushing mine, and studied the drawing. A slow smile spread across his face, but it was tinged with something heavier. "This is me," he said softly. "You see me like this?" I nodded, my chest tight. I didn't trust myself to speak, not when his gaze felt like it could unravel me. He set the sketchbook down, his eyes never leaving mine. "Eli, I need you to be honest with me. Whatever's going on, we can figure it out. Together." The word "together" hit like a spark. I wanted to tell him everything. How his confession had shaken me. How I didn't know if I could love him the way he wanted. How I was terrified of losing him either way. But I didn't. Instead, I stepped back, muttering, I just need time. Theo's face fell, but he nodded. Okay, but I'm not going anywhere. He left, and the silence he left behind was louder than any song he'd ever played. The next few days were a blur of avoidance and guilt. I skipped our usual coffee runs, ignored his texts, and buried myself in work. But Seattle's a small city when it comes to the people who matter, and Theo wasn't one to give up. He cornered me at the coffee shop where he worked, a cozy spot in Belltown with mismatched chairs and the smell of fresh espresso. Eli, enough, he said, sliding into the seat across from me, his apron still tied on. You're shutting me out, and I deserve to know why. The shop was quiet, just a few patrons tapping away at laptops. I stared into my latte, the foam swirling like my thoughts. I heard you. I blurted, the words escaping before I could stop them. At the diner. With Maya. I heard what you said. Theo froze, his face paling. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The hum of the espresso machine filled the silence, but it couldn't drown out the tension. You heard me, he repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. And you didn't say anything? I didn't know how, I admitted, my hands gripping the mug. Theo, you're my best friend. I don't know what to do with this. I don't even know what I feel. He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. I didn't want you to find out like that. I was going to tell you, but, God, Eli, I've been carrying this for years. I didn't want to ruin us. You haven't, I said quickly, but the words felt hollow. Hadn't he? Hadn't I? The air between us was thick with unspoken questions, and I didn't have answers for any of them. The coffee shop confrontation didn't fix things. If anything, it made them messier. Theo and I tiptoed around each other. Our conversations clipped, our glances loaded. I started noticing things I hadn't before. The way his laugh caught in his throat when he was nervous, the way his fingers tapped out rhythms when he was deep in thought. Every detail felt like a clue to a puzzle I wasn't sure I wanted to solve. I threw myself into my art, sketching feverishly to make sense of the chaos. My apartment was littered with drawings of Theo, his profile against the park's blossoms, his hands on his guitar, his eyes meeting mine in moments I couldn't forget. Each stroke of my pencil felt like a confession I wasn't ready to voice. Was I falling for him? Or was I just scared of losing him? One night, unable to sleep, I wandered to Pike Place Market, the city's heartbeat quiet under the stars. The stalls were shuttered, but the energy of the place lingered. I sat on a bench overlooking the water, sketching the skyline, when I heard footsteps. Theo, of course. He always knew where to find me. You're avoiding me again, he said, sitting beside me. His voice was soft, but there was an edge to it, like he was tired of chasing. I'm not. I lied, closing my sketchbook. I just needed air. He didn't buy it. Eli, talk to me. You know how I feel. I've laid it all out. But I don't know where you stand, and it's killing me. I looked at him then, really looked. His hazel eyes were stormy, his jaw tight with the effort of holding back. He was beautiful, I realized, in a way I'd never let myself see before. My heart thudded, a mix of fear and something warmer, something I couldn't name. Theo, I don't know if I can be what you want, I said finally. I've never thought about guys like that. But you're different. You've always been different. He exhaled, like he'd been holding his breath for weeks. You don't have to have it all figured out. I just need you to be honest. Do you feel something? Anything? I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say no. I wanted to run. Instead, I reached out, my hand brushing his, and the contact sent a jolt through me. I don't know what I feel, I whispered, but I don't want to lose you. His fingers curled around mine, tentative but firm. You won't, he said, and for the first time in weeks, I believed him. The weeks that followed were a dance of small steps and stumbles. We didn't talk about the confession again, but it hung between us, shaping every moment. We went back to the park, shared coffee, laughed like we used to, but there was a new current under it all. His hand would linger when he passed me a mug, or I'd catch myself staring when he played his guitar. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and I still didn't know what to call it. One evening, at a small open mic night in a Fremont bar, Theo performed a song he'd written. The crowd was small, the lights dim, but his voice filled the room, raw and aching. I sat in the back, my sketchbook open, capturing the way his hands moved over the strings, the way his eyes found mine in the crowd. The lyrics were about longing, about loving someone who might never love you back, and I knew they were for me. When he finished, the applause was polite, but his gaze was locked on me. I felt exposed, like he'd stripped me bare with his words. After the set, he joined me, his shoulder brushing mine as we sat at a sticky table. "What did you think?" he asked, his voice low. "It was beautiful," I said, and I meant it. It was about me, wasn't it? He didn't deny it. "Yeah, is that okay?" I nodded, my throat tight. For the first time, I let myself imagine what it would be like to lean in, to close the distance between us. But I didn't. Not yet. Summer bled into fall, and Seattle's skies turned gray, but the fire between Theo and me didn't fade. It grew, fed by every shared glance, every quiet moment. I was still scared, scared of what it meant, scared of what I'd lose if I got it wrong, but I was tired of running. I wanted to know, needed to know, what this could be. One rainy afternoon, we ended up back at Fremont Park, the cherry blossoms long gone, replaced by fiery autumn leaves. Theo sat on our bench, strumming his guitar, and I sketched him, the rain pattering on my hood. The air was crisp, the world soft around us, and for once, I didn't feel like I was on the edge of a cliff. I felt steady. "Theo," I said, setting my pencil down. He looked up, his fingers stilling. "I heard you that night, and it scared me. Not because of you, but because of me. I didn't know if I could feel the same. But I think I do." His eyes widened, hope flickering in them like a flame. "Eli, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm scared, but I'm here. I want to try? With you." The words felt like jumping into cold water, shocking, but alive. Theo set his guitar aside and stood, closing the distance between us. His hand found mine, and this time, I didn't pull away. "You mean it?" he asked, his voice trembling. I nodded, and then, before I could overthink it, I leaned in. Our lips met, tentative at first, then sure, and the world fell away. The rain, the park, the fear, it all melted into the warmth of him, the certainty of us. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was ours. Months later, we were still figuring it out. Love wasn't a straight line. It was messy, full of doubts and small victories. But we faced it together, two guys who'd found something worth fighting for. Theo's music got bolder, my sketches got braver, and Seattle felt like home in a way it never had before. We weren't just best friends anymore. We were more, and that was enough. The park bench, carved with "Love ignites in silence," became our place, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous fires start with a whisper, and sometimes they're worth burning for. What aspects of this story resonate most with you? How do you feel the tension and romance balance with the human values you wanted to highlight? If there's anything you'd like to adjust or explore further, what would it be?